Hello, I'm Jordan and this is a guide on how to use Stream Check. Stream is cloud-based software so you can access it from any web browser. I'm just going to log in with my account here. You'll have your own account with your own unique user ID and password. This is the first screen you'll see after you log into Stream Check, or you can navigate to it from the menu. This shows all your vehicles in a list on the left over here. In the middle it will show any defects for the selected vehicle. Down at the bottom, any bookings you have for the selected vehicle. And on the right, it will show all the checks you've completed within the Stream app. The other pages you can access using the menu button in the top right-hand corner. The vehicle types management page is where you'll actually manage your types of vehicles you have in Stream. So for example, here I've got a van set up. You can manage your default things like driver license categories or minimum expected check times and payloads and things like that. You can rearrange what checks are actually performed on each vehicle using the list in the middle here. And you can also set up scheduled bookings, so bookings that reoccur. The other pages in Stream Check are users and drivers. So this is where you'll actually manage the users that you have within the system, set up new drivers, for example, or new users who are actually going to manage these bookings and checks within Stream, and the change password page. So this is where you can change your password, and you'll be prompted to change your password the first time you log in as well, make it something more secure. The vehicle details page here, we give you a van to begin with, so this van will come with your Stream environment. If you click on the edit button or double click on the vehicle row here, you get more information about this vehicle. So any information that's been stored about this particular vehicle, you can store as much or as little as you want. You can delete this vehicle if you don't want it as well, or you can use it as you get going in your environment. If you want to add a new vehicle, you just need to press the add button up here. This will open up a blank version of that pop-up, and here you can enter all the information you have about that particular vehicle. So all you need to do is enter a registration, for example, a mileage. You can just put 0 if you don't know the current mileage, and this will be updated the first time you do a check within the app, and the type of vehicle it is. So these are the default types we give you. Again, you can create more if you wish, but generally you can find something within this list here. So I'm just going to pick it as a van. You can enter things like a name or make and model. So I might call it a transit van here. So I've got some way to identify this vehicle. When I'm finished creating this vehicle, I can save it and it will add it to that list on the left. Going back to the vehicle types management page, and this is where I can manage what vehicle types I actually use within Stream. We give you a whole list of default vehicle types. You can see them all just by pressing this show and use button, and that will show all the different types of vehicles you have within the system. From here, you can change any of the information below here, such as how long you expect a minimum check to take, things like payload capacity and stuff like that. What you might want to do the first time you go into Stream, though, is change around the list of selected checks you have here for the vehicle type. So this is the list of checks the driver will see within the Stream app. These are the default ones we give you. If you scroll down, you'll see we give you a whole list of other available checks as well, and you can drag and drop between these two lists to pick exactly what you want to check. For example, if I wanted to check the clutch on a particular vehicle, but I wasn't too bothered about checking the exhaust system, you can drag and drop between the two lists and save just the checklist you actually want to use within Stream. You can also edit any of these checks as well if you wish to change exactly what defects are recorded for each check. And if there isn't something in this list that you'd like to do a check on, you can create a brand new one using the button at the top of the page there. And then finally on the list on the right here, this is where you can decide what scheduled bookings you're going to set up for a vehicle type. We give you these 4 default ones for different bookings. Again, you can drag and drop between these two lists to actually select them. You can create brand new bookings using the create button here. Pick the type of booking it is, put in a name and description, and enter things like whether it's a booking to be done after every certain number of weeks or after a certain mileage or both. For example, that maybe it's a booking that has to be done every 10,000 miles, or maybe it's a booking that needs to be done every 52 weeks. And you can get all those set up and they'll automatically populate in the vehicle details page for you. This is the Stream app. You can access it by downloading it on any Android device or iOS device by searching Stream TMS in the Google Play Store or Apple App Store. You can give each driver their own unique login as well, so you can see which drivers are performing which check on vehicles. I'm just going to log in with a default profile I've got set up when I set up my account. I log in and it will take me to this screen where I can see a vehicle and checks option and also the option to change my password. And if you're using Stream Go, you may see some more options too. I'm just going to go on vehicle and checks. Here I can see all the vehicles I've got set up within that system. There's that transit van I made earlier and the default vehicle we give you as well. So I'm just going to go for that transit van I made. You get the list of default checks as well. Pre-use, handover, and end of day are the checks we give you by default. You can also do things like just report a single defect on any vehicle at any time of the day, or view or update any defects that exist currently on the vehicle. This is a brand new vehicle, there's nothing there currently, so I'm just going to go on the pre-use check. It will ask me to confirm the mileage for the vehicle. This will update the first time I enter it, 12,000 miles, and confirm. And this will take me to the list of checks for that particular vehicle. This is a list of everything that I've set up within the vehicle types management page, all the different types of checks, and any different types of defects that I've selected for each one as well. So now I can just go through each of these checks and either press the tick to mark a check as completed OK, or the cross to say that there's a defect. After I confirm there's no defects on a particular vehicle, I still have the option to go back and add a defect if I wish, or I can just add some text or photos if I want to take that for my own records even though there isn't a defect. I might want to just take a picture for proof, for example. For the tyres and wheels, I'm going to mark a defect for this particular vehicle. This will take me through to the defect page. Here I can select what's exactly wrong with the tyres in this case. I've got a list again. These are all the default ones we give you, but you can alter exactly what's shown in this list here if you want different defects for the driver to be able to record. I'm going to pick maybe a flat tyre in this case. It will ask me to capture a photo, so I can take a picture of any flat tyres I have. And any notes as well. I'm going to say no in tyre in this case. And confirm this defect. It's put a red cross and red text in this list showing that that's now been marked as a defect, making this vehicle unusable. And now I can carry on with the rest of this list, ticking off whether the checks have been completed successfully or not. We do also record how long it's taking the drivers to record these checks as well. So you can see, for example, if the drivers are going too fast, maybe not paying as much attention as they should be. You can also set it up so that if a driver completes a check under the minimum expected check time, for this vehicle it's 5 minutes, for example, I'll get notified within Stream and also get email notifications as well. So I can put who the defect's been reported to, and it's signed by myself. And then I can just submit that check. So there you go, you can see that it said the vehicle is no longer usable, that check's been submitted, and all that data will have now come into Stream. I'm going to move back to Stream now. If I now refresh the vehicle details page, this will update to show the new check that's come in. So you can see on the right hand side, it's now got this check in the check history here. It shows the status of that check, so in this case it's a fail. It shows what driver it's been done by, the mileage of that vehicle, the overall defect severity as well. Down the bottom here, I get more information about that particular check. So I can see again, it was a pre-use check, what driver was signed in, who the actual check was signed by, if there's any defects which have been reported to, minimum expected check time. So I can see it's got a red box around here letting me know that that is less than should be expected. In this case, I expect at least 5 minutes for a check on this vehicle. And then I can see exactly what happened for each particular check. So you can see a tick or a cross on the left-hand side here to show whether it's a pass or a fail, details about that particular check, how long it took the driver to complete each individual check, any notes that were entered by the driver, and photos as well. In the middle section here, you can now see that there's a defect. It's showing that that defect is, in this case, that one we marked as a fail, which was the tyres and wheel. If I press on edit or double click on this defect, it will open up this pop-up to show me more information about this particular defect. So I can change the defects if I wish. Maybe the defect's got worse or there's something else that's changed on it. I can change from this list here. And then there's these options I can do here. If I wish, I can say this defect's been assessed. For example, it might have also been assessed by the driver. So if I search, I can find the driver in this list here. I can put in any estimated resolutions if I wanted, or I can just go in and resolve this defect. Maybe it's been resolved by my operations user. Maybe it's been resolved by a garage in this case. Garage is an option we'll give you as well, along with all your users. You also have the option to put additional notes on this defect or add attachments, which is sometimes quite useful if you get invoices and things from the garage, which you want to retain within Stream tied to this particular defect for your records. I can then update this defect. You can see that this particular defect is now showing a resolution date. It's also updated the actual overall status of the vehicle on the left over here, but we still retain all information about defects within Stream. So it still keeps all that information about the defect within this section here. So you can still view things in the check history on the right as well. Other parts of Stream you might want to use the first time you log in as well is the users and drivers page. By default, we give you a operations user, which is who I'm logged in as now. So that's someone who's actually using the Stream web app, who's actually able to go in, view and manage the vehicles, manage the types, and go around and change things, manage the defects and add new users. A driver is someone who only has access to the app. If you have drivers who you only want to perform checks actually within the Stream app, that's the authority you want to give them. You can add as many users as you want within Stream. There's no limit at all. So I can just press on the add button here to create a new user. I can then enter a name, a profile, An email login, if you supply an email address, they can log in with that and it will be used to send password resets. You can pick the type of user, operations or driver, and you can supply things like different depots if you have multiple depots, and any join or leave dates for that particular user as well. This page will also be used to retain things like bookings for the drivers, so you can supply things like holidays or sicknesses and things like that. Put them into Stream here if you want to manage that all in one location. You can also upload things like documents, so driver licenses, for example. And this event section at the top here will show any events such as drivers failing checks on certain vehicles and things like that. And that is a guide on how to use Stream Check. If you have any further questions about using Stream Check, please either contact the support team or have a look at the additional videos on the Stream website.